Suriname Ministerial delegation visits the CARICOM Secretariat. U.S. President signs Preferential Trade Act. The region observes Caribbean Statistics Day, and Professor Hilary Beckles makes case for reparations. These and other stories are in this edition of CARICOM News Time. I am Michelle Nurse. Thank you for joining us. A team of ministers from Suriname visited the CARICOM Secretariat on the 14th of October, where they held discussions with the CARICOM Secretary General Ambassador Erwin Larocque and other officials. The Suriname team comprised His Excellency Albert Ramdin, Foreign Affairs Minister, who is a former CARICOM Assistant Secretary General, His Excellency Riyad Nur Mohammed, Public Works Minister, His Excellency Amar Ramadan, Public Health Minister, and Ambassador Miriam McIntosh, Permanent Secretary in the Foreign Affairs Ministry. Secretary General Larocque took the opportunity to bring the team up to date on matters which are currently engaging the community. Suriname holds responsibility in the CARICOM Quasi-Cabinet for community development and cultural cooperation. The delegation met with Director General of CARIFORUM, which Suriname currently chairs. Minister Ramadan held separate discussions with Dr. Douglas Slater, Assistant Secretary General, Human and Social Development at the CARICOM Secretariat. The team spent a few days in Guyana and met Foreign Affairs Minister Hugh Todd to continue consultations on various initiatives that President Mohamed Irfan Ali of Guyana and President Chandrika Prasad Santokhi of Suriname agreed on in August. The visit to Guyana followed closely on the heels of one made by Minister Nur Mohammed, who toured the proposed site of the Quarantine River Bridge with a Guyana team that was led by Minister of Public Works Bishop Juan Edgil. Formal diplomatic relations between the Cooperative Republic of Guyana and the Republic of Suriname were established on the 25th of November, 1975. Suriname became a member of CARICOM on the 4th of July, 1995. The renewed Caribbean Basin Trade Partnership Act is now in force after United States President Donald Trump affixed his signature to it earlier this month. Representative Brad Wenstrup, who co-sponsored the extension bill with Representative Terry Sewell, announced that President Trump had signed the act. The piece of legislation gained unanimous approval in the U.S. Senate on the 30th of September, the day the act was scheduled to expire. The Senate gave its nod to the renewal of the act until the end of September 2030. The St. Lucia Embassy in Washington, D.C. led the CARICOM effort to get the legislation passed since taking on the role of chair of the Caribbean Caucus of Ambassadors in July last year. The Caribbean Basin Trade Partnership Act is a preferential trade agreement that provides for duty and quota-free access into the U.S. for a wide range of products from beneficiary Caribbean countries. Eligible CARICOM member states are Barbados, Belize, Guyana, Haiti, Jamaica, St. Lucia, and Trinidad and Tobago. Over the past 2 years, the leading exports to the U.S. were petroleum, textiles, and clothing. Last year, exports to the U.S. under the Act accounted for almost $450 million US. Trinidad and Tobago and Guyana are among the beneficiaries that have already signaled the importance of the renewed Act to their economies. Trinidad and Tobago's Minister of Trade says the continuation of the trade preferences forms a key part of the country's economic recovery strategy as the government seeks to reset the economy for growth and innovation. Guyana's Foreign Trade and International Cooperation Ministry says the renewal of the agreement is extremely important to Guyana's economy and foreign trade policy, as it guarantees exporters sustained preferential access to the U.S. market for products including textiles and apparel. The importance of the continued existence of the agreement is even more essential to Guyana, especially in the context of the recent oil discoveries and the preferences accorded for petroleum and petroleum derivatives, the ministry says. The COVID-19 pandemic has highlighted the need for quality statistics to track the status of the pandemic and its economic and social impact, CARICOM Secretary General Ambassador Erwin LaRocque says. In a statement to mark Caribbean Statistics Day on the 15th of October, the Secretary General points out that in the efforts to manage and overcome the pandemic, epidemiological data underpin the information base on the spread of the virus. The Secretariat's Regional Statistics Program has been compiling weekly statistical bulletins tracking the pandemic in the region. The bulletins provide information on the pattern of the disease, the total number of confirmed cases, new cases, and deaths for each country, and the total for CARICOM. The CARICOM Secretariat joined with the rest of the region in observing Caribbean Statistics Day, as well as World Statistics Day on the 20th of October. The observances were held under the theme, Connecting the World with Data We Can Trust. We caught up with two members of the CARICOM Secretariat Statistics Unit, and they spoke of how their work in statistics impacts the region.
Countries are first and foremost focused on the performance of their economies. So economic statistics provides a picture, not just for those economies, but for the region as a whole, as it relates to how we are performing economically. And we know once our countries are performing well economically, it can then lead to spill-off effects or spill-off benefits for other areas, which I might not be too integrally involved in. But that's just to recognize the importance of first and foremost economic statistics for the region. Usually when we say, and I think I want to delve into another aspect of statistics, when we usually talk about statistics, people just think about the numbers being produced. But there's an aspect of statistics that is often overlooked, which is the methodology behind those numbers, right? We need to ensure, and this also forms a critical part of my work, we need to ensure that countries are adopting the right methodology in the production of their numbers. So a big part of my work is to ensure that capacity within member states is of the right standard, such that we're fairly comfortable that member states are employing the right methodologies in their different economic areas.
Now, the 2020 population housing census is upon us. Some member states should have actually started their censuses, but due to COVID, those were postponed. So basically, what we at the Secretariat do with regards to the population housing census, the Secretariat has been coordinating the regional censuses since 1980, and each round, which is every 10 years, the support to member states grows. For this particular round, which we're in the 2020 round, we have, in collaboration with member states, of course, developed a regional census strategy. We have developed a common census questionnaire. Common census questionnaire, basically in terms of structure, member states are allowed to amend the questions to their national needs. But even so, we have some areas in questionnaire where almost 80% of the use of the questions recommended by the Secretariat are used, right? So common questions, common methodologies, common definitions, common concepts are used all 15 member states and associate members to a large degree for their upcoming censuses. And this in itself creates, of course, it helps in the integration process, because throughout this process, what you will get is very harmonized data.
Sir Hilary Beckles was the guest of a special one-on-one conversation chaired by Professor Andy Knight as the Caribbean observed International Day of Reparations on the 12th of October. The discussion was held under the theme, The Case for Reparations. The conversation traced the history of colonization, explored reparations in an era of the Black Lives Matter movement, and provided an insight into the status of the Caribbean's quest for reparations. Here's a sampling of that discussion.
But in the Caribbean context, we recognize the diversity of models for reparations. But in the Caribbean, the model that we are looking at is about economic development, social transformation, investment for the public good, investment for the betterment of all of the people in the society, investment in bringing the Caribbean up to a development level of competitiveness. So bear in mind what we're saying. I want to make this point very clear, Andy. We are not advocating in any way that we are not taking responsibilities for ourselves, because we have had to take responsibility for ourselves. We transformed these colonies, these broken colonies, we transformed them into functional democracies. That was without the support of the colonizer. We took responsibility and we built democracies. But we also have to say that those who created the mess that we have been cleaning up, we have been cleaning up their mess in health, in education, in transport, logistics. We have been cleaning up their health. And how have we done it? By debt. We have been borrowing money to support our development from day one. And now we have this debt crisis because we were abandoned by those who took away our wealth, those who plundered our wealth, took it away from us. We now had to go and borrow money from them to fund our own development. This is the cycle in which you are trapped into poverty. Reparations is one of those techniques, one of those instruments that will help to break that cycle where the extractor comes back to the region and partner with us, sit at the table with us to talk about how they are going to discharge their obligation to displace. It is not that we are abandoning responsibility for ourselves, because we will never do that.
For these and other stories, visit the CARICOM news site at today.caricom.org or the CARICOM website at caricom.org. Like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, and be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Please continue to be safe, and see you next time.